Hey guys, welcome back to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we are back talking about a Tristana supplementary guide. And we're going to be taking a look at Tristana's top ranked build. But of course, before we get into that, don't forget to check out Tristana's basic guide. And I'm going to link up in the cards above. This will give you her skills, her leveling order, some tips and tricks, as well as some of her combos. Of course, for you to help play Tristana better. So anyways, let's jump straight into talking about her loadout, starting of course with the items. So this is the build used by the top ranked Tristana, and he has been the top ranked Tristana for quite many months now. He's always been using this build. Now, I have never really liked this build personally, but when I tried it, I can see why it isn't too bad. So here you start off with a Phantom Dancer. So Phantom Dancer, what it gives you a lot of attack speed. It gives you 55% attack speed, a little bit of AD, a little bit of crit, of course a little bit of movement speed as well. But the main reason I don't like going for Phantom Dancer first is because you're really weak with Phantom Dancer first. So you don't really get any like AD at the beginning, however you get a lot of attack speed. So this is kind of setting you up for your future items when you go down the line for the rest of your items. So you of course go for Gluttonous Greaves next. Of course this gives you 35 AD, which is by the way more than what you get from Phantom Dancer. Gives you the Omnivamp and obviously the movement speed. Then you go into a little bit of an interesting item, because you go for the Storm Razor. So now this is the spot I normally like to go for Quick Blades in, or maybe like, you know, go for a Shield Bow, but Storm Razor isn't really that popular for an item. But I have to say, after testing it myself, I think Storm Razor is actually a really strong item on Tristana and on this build as well. So basically what it does, gives you a little bit of attack speed, gives you the AD, and of course the main part is gives you the slow as well as the bonus magic damage. Now you'd think that this wouldn't matter too much. However, in practice, that slow helps you just catch up with people, especially when you combo it with the movement speed from the Phantom Dancer and blast them down with, of course, your E, and which is your bomb. So also that extra bonus damage can pack quite a punch. So when you get to 2 items, you're going to be honestly not too bad. So honestly with this build, it's kind of like you're weak on your first item, but you become strong on your second item, even though Tristana is kind of weak in the mid game. It sort of like offsets that a little bit. Now I do say that you can technically swap this around. I think this might be better. Like you get a little bit of an earlier spike with Storm Razor, and then you get the Phantom Dancer attack speed later on. But the way that our top ranked player has chosen to go for is the other direction, which is why I tried exactly his build to see how it works. So next up, the very Quick Blades. Now the reason for this is pretty obvious. You want to, of course, get the cooldown on especially your E and your Q. Now so much value in the very Quick Blades on Tristana here. And yeah, this is a no-brainer. Every Tristana build has the very Quick Blades, and then your IE to get you to 100% crit, give you a lot of AD, and as well as of course boost your crit damage. And finally, you can get the Molar Reminder. This will give you the Armor Pen as well as the Grievous Wounds. Now you can get Molar Reminder earlier if you need to, and put IE to the last item. You can do that. Of course that will delay your damage and delay your crit, but sometimes the Armor Pen just is simply more important. Of course, you can also get the Executioner's Calling earlier on if you need the anti-heal, but aside from that, this is going to be the build. Of course, feel free to switch up the order and whatnot. And also for the boots, you can technically also go for defensive boots if you're playing into very heavy AD or AP. And of course, you generally want to go for Stasis over here. Okay, so for the runes, you actually go for Conquer. Conquer, of course, gives you AD and Omnivamp, and the reason why you don't need attack speed is because you already get 55% from Phantom Dancer, you have like 20% from Storm Razor, and you get the cooldown on your Q as well, so you really don't need any attack speed from Lethal Tempo anymore, so you go for the Conquer. And then we have Brutal, of course, with the unhit damage, Coup de Grace against low HP enemies, or, of course, Giant Slayer against tanky teams. And of course you go for Bloodline for the Omnivamp. Once again, you don't need Alacrity for the attack speed, and I like to go for Bone Plating as my secondary, of course, to get a little bit more tanky. Now for the spells, you will always go for Flash, of course. Then it's between Ghost and Exhaust. Now personally, I like taking Exhaust on ADCs that are good at 1v1s, ADCs like Kai'Sa and Tristana. So obviously, you know, with Tristana, she has a very strong 1v1, so I like to take the Exhaust to help me 1v1 champions. But of course you can go for Ghost as well, because Tristana in late game is a very strong hyper carry, and of course that Ghost is going to help you kite around in fights as well. So that works just as well. So all that said, let's jump into talking about our gameplay. Okay, so now this is going to be a pretty exciting gameplay, we do die a lot of times in this game. There's sort of like a mini spoiler, but we do die a lot of times in this game, but we do still have a very high impact, and we still do a lot of damage, and we do still carry our team. Now, of course, dying is bad, but you don't always have to be like deathless or like, you know, have really low deaths to make an impact in the game. Sometimes, you know, you do have those kind of messy Clown Fiesta games that, you know, you just die a lot, your opponents die a lot, and everybody is just dying. This is kind of just one of those games, and I find that we have these kind of games really often on Tristana because you're diving in a lot into the enemy team to like really do your damage when you jump on top of their hits. So, you know, that does happen from time to time. So here I'm playing against a Draven Lulu. Now obviously Draven is really strong in the early game, and we are with a Leona who can't really heal us or anything like that. So we of course just want to really just play safe and avoid getting poked. As I say that, Leona basically takes a whole health load of damage, and then I try to compensate for that, and I end up basically taking a whole health load of damage already. And basically, even though we didn't die or like nothing too much has happened yet, within less than 1 minute of the game, we basically have already made a huge mistake, which is we should never even step up to the Draven. Now thankfully though, Nunu realizes the situation, sees Draven and Lulu playing too aggressive, comes in for the gank. We chain CC him, combo him, whatnot, and we get the kill onto Draven. We're gonna get the reset onto Lulu. Nunu and Leona leaves us the kill, and we end up getting a double kill despite basically just completely screwing up our own lane together with the Leona. But we do end up getting rewarded for it, which is completely, completely not what's supposed to happen. But you know, these kind of things do happen. So anyways, a skirmish breaks out in the river. Amumu is going in. Mid and jungle are all fighting. Of course, Lulu and Draven are coming back. Here I'm trying to go in. I put my bomb onto the Skull, which again is another pretty big mistake. Could have possibly got the kill on Akshan, or rather I would have got the kill on Akshan if I actually put the bomb on him. So again, another huge mistake from me. We haven't played Tristana in a hot minute, long while. Even though I've always been saying Tristana is one of, if not the best ADCs to play, honestly I don't enjoy playing Tristana, and honestly Tristana isn't really that popular as well considering how strong she is. And I think the main reason is that Tristana is just not a very easy champion to play, not very popular champion to play, and I personally don't exactly enjoy playing Tristana all that much either, so I don't really play her that much, and decided to pull her out for this one game. And yeah, a little bit rusty, you can see a little bit rusty on the good old Tristana, but overall, we're still doing really well. We got those 2 kills, basically from the Nunu gank, and we did manage to really get Akshan or Amumu, but we did, you know, of course, rotate for our team, which is the correct move. Now here, unfortunately, a really unlucky situation here, which is that basically, number 1, we lose Flash and we die to Ignite, but number 2 is that Draven actually, technically speaking, Draven made a mistake by walking up to clear the ward when Leona was in the bush. However, he didn't get punished for that mistake because instead of the ward kill, he actually hit level 5, and because he had his ulti, he was able to hit his ulti, both the forward and the reverse part of the ulti, onto both me and Leona, which basically that ulti damage allowed him to win the fight. So despite him making the wrong move and making a mistake, he was actually rewarded because he leveled up at the exact right time, and in the end it was me and Leona that got punished for fighting a Draven with ultimate when we both don't have ultimate. So I guess, you know, it all balances out. You know, we get a kill despite playing horribly, he gets a kill despite kind of playing horribly as well, and yeah. So here, Leona does manage to go in for the chain CC onto Draven. Unfortunately, the Lulu polymorph makes it such that I can't really follow up fully. And we do get a really decent chunk onto the Draven, so it's not all that bad, but we of course can't really finish off the kill. So here, Nunu comes in for another gang, but the Draven and Lulu a little bit overextended already. Now here, kind of disaster angle happens, where basically Leona tries to dive in when I have no cooldowns, and Nunu tries to go in and compensate. He dies. I try to walk away this time and not compensate for their mistakes, but Akshan comes in with a really, honestly, really beautiful ulti with the swing, so that Lux cannot block for me, and he does end up picking up the kill onto me. And off of all of this, Lux is stuck under tower 1v3, and she's going to get dived as well. So this is kind of like a huge kind of game losing play for my entire team. We basically it was nearly basically a clean ace. Like only Set was alive because he wasn't even in the fight, but we basically all died and we didn't get any kills at all. So it was kind of literally a complete disaster. Now, I'm not sure why Nunu is here. He just basically walks all the way to lane, helps me kill like 2 minions, and then he just recalls. Really, really weird, considering his whole jungle is down on the red side. But yeah, so here, now Nunu is actually on the other side of the map where Herald and Dragon has spawned. So here, I'm bombing the minions to get priority because I don't, I don't know what we need or want to do. Here, the enemy bot lane is actually back in the lane, so here we're just kind of sticking around and seeing what happens. We do have that priority though, so we're gonna use that to rotate over to the dragon and try to possibly get the dragon. Here, Leona is kind of setting a trap for Draven or whoever, so I'm just auto attacking. I'm not using my spells on the dragon to make sure that we have our spells up for something like this, for example. So here we're going to go for the Lulu first and pretty much remove her from the equation so that she can't help the Draven. Now, I have no idea how, but Draven somehow still manages to trade the kill onto me before he dies. So overall, we end up trading 1 for 1. But I believe because I killed Draven first and then his ex killed me afterwards, I believe he still loses half of his stacks. So he only managed to cash in half of his stacks, from what I understand. So still looks like the situation is not all that bad. He didn't get as much gold as he could have. But obviously you can see that in terms of gold difference, he is still like a good 1,500 gold above me. Of course, with the Draven passive, really difficult to compete. So here, there's a really fed Akshan. I'm trying to help the Lux and get the kill on Akshan, but Lux instead just gets the kill instead. And I popped the blast plant by accident, and that was a 6 kill, 3 assist shutdown. Unfortunately, that just went to the Lux, who isn't really playing very well at the moment. And the fact that I got 400 like gold from an assist on Akshan tells you a lot, because like 400 gold is like more than a kill's worth of gold just from an assist. But anyways, so here the tower has to be conceded because Draven can easily kill me and dive me on the tower, so I have to let him take the tower, and then I'm just going to back off and clear up these minions. Okay, so here we have no idea where Draven and Lulu went. So for now, what we're going to do is we're going to actually just push in this lane. They're likely to have rotated away from bot lane, and as such, we probably can get some plays. Now, this is a really common mistake a lot of people make, which is that when they get the tower, they simply just rotate over to another lane. Now, Draven did not make that mistake, but Lulu kind of did. So here, we were able to actually get 2 plates for free. Thankfully, Draven was still there, so he didn't let us get the whole tower, so that's good for him. But I think that, if you want to do this kind of rotation, you need to clear out the wave. First, push out the wave in your own lane, then rotate, which is something that I try to do, almost all of the time, so that we don't end up, we have a huge lead by getting all of the enemy's plates and, getting the enemy's tower, and then you're going to throw the whole lead away by just letting them do the same because you're not in the lane. So here a fight's kind of breaking out in the mid lane. I'm just coming over to join my team, see if anything happens. Looks like in the end, nothing is really going to happen here. So yeah, so now we're going to head back down to, of course, pick up the farm. You can see that our team is behind enough by like 5k gold overall at least, such that we have objective bounties on the towers already. So here you can see Draven is roaming down from mid based on that ward that we have. So here I'm just backing off. Now obviously I can't go in 1v1 against the Draven. I was honestly thinking about it because I had exhaust and flash up, but I decided that he's way too fed for me to do that. He has 2 full items already, collector and LDR, whereas I only have 1 item, and that item doesn't even give me very much damage. It's just Phantom Dancer for the attack speed. So concluded, to not pull the trigger. Sometimes you don't want to pull the trigger because you're just gonna kill yourself by jumping in. So we have to show the restraint, and we have to, of course, just let him clear out the wave. So here, once again, we can see a fight happening in top lane. We can see Amumu and Shen in the top lane. So we're gonna take this opportunity to just push down this tower to get the objective bounty. We can see like 4 or 5 members are over there. Basically the whole 5 members of the enemy team is up over there in the lane. So I'm gonna, of course, take advantage of this to quickly push down the tower, clear out the minion wave, and then reset. Now the fight is extremely prolonged, but of course I'm on the opposite side of the map, so I'm unable to help. I have my second item now, and the fight is basically over at this point. So here I'm just popping the plant to see if there are any stragglers in the fight. So here I just want Amumu alone. So here I'm seeing if I can sneak up on Amumu to dive in, but of course with the minion wave coming in, he's gonna see me coming, and unless he's in the shop, he's not really going to just stand there and let me jump in on him. So here, we managed to clear out the wave again, but looks like Lulu and Draven have overstayed. So Lulu gets the Shen out, but she dies. Now Shen is now stuck in a pickle, and he's getting run down by my team. And during this whole time, once again, I'm just pushing down the mid lane Tyro using my bomb. Akshan shows up to the party. He gets exhausted by me. I'm gonna ult him away. Of course, I don't really win 1v1 against him either because he's really fed. Although, come to think of it, on hindsight, if we take a look at the goal and the items now, I'm actually almost the same goal and items as Akshan. In fact, I actually have like one more longsword than him because he has 2 full items and I have 2 full items and a longsword. So maybe I could have actually fought him there, but in the game I didn't feel like I was really that strong compared to him. So I just chose to disengage with the ulti and just just back off basically and not take the risk. So here, we're going to secure the dragon. Amumu tries to come in. Here I'm going for the Draven in the back line because he's unprotected at the moment. Unfortunately, we can't finish the kill, so now I'm just hitting first target. We get the kill onto Amumu, get the reset. I try to dive in onto the Draven, but unfortunately Shen shows up. Here Leona tries to dive in as well, but the Shen W blocks basically all of my damage. Akshan is now on the chase trying to kill me. And as we can see, apparently I do not win against Akshan, so I think it was probably the right decision to ult him away just now, because you can see we don't win against him 1v1. So yeah. So either way, we do end up once again going down. Now we're 5-4-1, not a very sexy KDA, but the important part in my opinion is that despite dying 4 times, which is just as much as basically everybody else on my team other than Set, look at my goal. So you can see that this whole time, even though my team has been losing and we're constantly 5k gold behind the enemy team, I still have 9k gold, which is, of course, it's more than like Amumu, Shen, and Lulu, but of course it's still less than the 10 kill Akshan and like the Draven, who of course has his passive. But just considering how I'm just like about 500 gold away from the Akshan, who has 8 kills and only 1 death, is actually kind of insane. And where did all this gold come from? Well, basically, as you guys could see from the earlier parts of the game, it came from taking those 2 towers, coming from the objective bounties, coming from the solo tower gold. That's where all my gold came from. So sometimes it really isn't the best decision to just join your team when you're behind, because you're likely to lose the team fight anyway. Why not just trade for an objective instead? Like, I got 2 full towers, I got the objective bounty from my entire team, and I got the gold for myself as well. So it's kind of a win-win situation. My team gets gold, I get gold, we're all happy. So anyways here, everyone's just posturing in mid for some reason, so it looks like some kind of fight is going to break out. Amumu here kind of face checks against us. We basically get a full bomb onto him, but it really doesn't do that much damage. Shen tries to come in, gets the taunt onto us, but doesn't really do any damage, thankfully, so we're able to eventually take him down. Here I'm jumping in, trying to finish off some kills. Lulu's 1 HP, I'm going to flash for the Lulu. Draven honestly makes a huge mistake by stasis right over there. So here I got 3 kills. Now here is a huge mistake here. I'm trying to chase down the Akshan, who's like really low. But just look at this burst from Akshan. He just instantly deletes me, and because it's an Akshan, and I got a triple kill, he revives his entire team. So that's like a huge it's not really a misplay, but it's a huge error in decision making from me. So here, because of that, I not only die, but basically their entire team revives except Shen. So now my team is kind of stuck in the worser position, because since the enemy team died, they had a chance to technically go back to base and buy items, whereas my team did not. So now I'm putting my team in a kind of a bad position, and this is probably the worst mistake I make in the whole game. But thankfully my team doesn't end up getting punished for it. They don't end up dying or anything like that. So it kind of all didn't go too bad, but this could have been a disaster if things turned out differently. So here I'm back from the grave. A fight is once again breaking out in the mid lane. Here I'm trying to go in onto the Akshan. And here I knew he was going to jump away, so I ult him. And I cannot believe that the ult did not kill him. Look at his HP here. In the game I couldn't see it, but you can see he's literally on 1 HP blinking health bar here. But because of that, he's not in the fight. So here against the 2 tanks, it's only a matter of time taking out these 2 tanks, because they don't have the damage to really take us out, and they can't really escape. I say that, but Shen ends up eating over the wall and does end up going down. So here, really kind of a miscommunication from my team here. I didn't want to go for the Akshan, but someone else did. So we kind of miscoordinated the timing. So here anyways, most of the enemy team is dead. So here, with Tristana, you do Baron really quickly. Especially now I'm on 3 items with the Navarre Quick Blades. I can spam my bomb and my Q onto the Baron and we take it down really quickly. So here, you can see that we are able to pick up the Baron itself. And we're able to get the Baron buff, and we can now just reset and of course get items. So here, 3 item Tristana, really strong of course. We have double dragon and the 3rd dragon is coming up. So this is going to be a triple dragon win condition, so of course we're going to go for that. Navarre has been acquired, which is a really crucial item for Tristana of course. So here we're just going to go ahead and start doing the dragon. Nunu comes in for the secure, and we are able to get it. So now we still have, you know, some duration of the Baron buff, so we want to try to use the Baron buff to push. So here we are kind of splitting between bot and mid and pushing 2 lanes. Set is actually going top as well, but the enemy wave is kind of like at our tier 2 tower and top, so it's really unlikely that we're going to push that really efficiently. So here, I have no idea why people keep backing. Why is like Lux recalling? Why is Set recalling? We need to use this Baron to push, but only Leona and me are pushing. And why is Nunu going back to the jungle to farm? We need to just push lanes together. So here Leona is trying to distract the enemies in mid. So here I'm pushing bot because the enemies are distracted in mid. So here I'm backing off because I don't have vision of the enemy team. And we can see Amumu as well as Lulu and Draven are still at mid. So here I'm just doing some counter jungling in the meantime, since you know, I can't really just push. So here, now we're actually going to go for this tower. So here you can see we have 2 wards there to spot the enemy team coming, if they do. But here, unfortunately, Amumu actually gets the sweeper and we don't see him coming, which is why we end up getting caught, which is just, it's well played by him, but honestly I don't think there's too much I could have done about that, because, you know, we had those 2 wards, so we were expecting to know when they're coming, but unfortunately we don't, and as a result, we do end up dying to the Amumu flank. So here the rest of our team basically has no damage without me. Lux does have 3 items, but she's not really doing too much work. And of course Set and Nunu and Leona are like all tanks, so you can see that Lux ult did basically no damage, even though she has like 3 full items, which is kind of sad when you really think about it. So, you know, we really need to not die, because when we die, our team basically does no damage, and we can't have that. So that's just a complete disaster. And yeah, so here we really need to focus on staying alive, especially because now we're in the late game and now we are doing a lot of damage. We can't afford to die, because without us, our team doesn't have the damage. Like, we have a Nunu that does a little bit of damage, a Leona that basically doesn't do damage, and we have Set and Lux who basically do a bit of damage as well. So we really are the main damage source from our team, and we really cannot afford to die. So now we can kind of play front to back already. We don't have to necessarily jump in all the time, although if there's an opportunity like this, we can of course jump in. Now unfortunately, we thought we found a pick onto Amumu, but the ulti comes in. Here I'm just flashing away to maintain distance. Here I'm like max range, just trying to blast whoever's in my range. I tried to ult down the Shen, but he didn't die. Here I'm going for basically literally whoever's in my range. I get 2 kills here, jumping in for more. Pop the stasis because, you know, I don't want to die, of course. And Lux picks up 2 kills as well. So here, this basically means only Akshan is left alive. And of course, I'm not going to make the same mistake again of going for Akshan. Instead, we're just going to go for the safe play, which is to, of course, go for the Elder Dragon and secure the Elder buff for my entire team. Huge team fight win for my team there, and off securing the Elder buff, we're gonna head straight over to Baron, no time wasted, and we're gonna just go ahead and secure the Baron as well. Of course, only Akshan is alive. It's extremely unlikely that Akshan steals the Baron, because obviously number 1 is a Nunu, and number 2, how can he possibly walk into a full team of 5 with Elder Dragon? So we get the Baron, we get the Elder Dragon, and we're gonna go back and also get the IE. So 100% crit secured now. Of course, we could have gone for a Maul Reminder earlier if we wanted to, especially because they have, of course, the Shen as well as the Amumu, who are both really tanky, but we chose to go for the full crit this time because I felt that the full crit was more important to just burst people down and just get rid of them, you know, for this particular match. So here with the basically Exodia combo of Elder Dragon, Baron, and Triple Dragon, honestly, the game at this point should be unlosable. We should basically just all walk down mid, kill the enemy team, and the game is pretty textbook, pretty straightforward, but once again, Nunu is still farming the jungle, his jungle, that he's not even farming the enemy jungle to deny. So it's really challenging because Set is not with us and Nunu is not with us, so we can't really just start a 3v5 fight. So here, speaking of fight, the Lux just gets basically picked off, and this is what we really don't want. So we don't really want, you know, people to just start getting picked up and just dying. It's really bad. So here I'm trying to take down the Amumu. He's really tanky though. So we barely missed out on the kill with, of course, the Elder Dragon Threshold. So here what we're gonna do next is we're just gonna focus the tower, and when we get this tower, we can go onto the enemies here. You can see they're all kind of grouped up here. I'm just blasting whoever I can, and Elder Dragon is taking care of the rest. Once again, only Akshan's left alive, and we're gonna finally end this really tough game. So thank you guys so much for watching the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'm gonna leave you guys with the stats as usual. So goodbye.